Once upon a time, I was falling in love. But now I'm only falling apart. There's nothing I can do but a total eclipse of the heart. Once upon a time, there was light in my life, but now there's only love in the dark. Nothing I can say, a total eclipse of the heart. This is Jason Bradley and Richter, the Community Solutions Podcast from deep in the bowels of our underground lair, showing compassion upon all the sad little puppies that tried to throw America into a Marxist tailspin.
Ha ha ha. Oh, how can you say bad things about puppies like that?
Yeah, especially after
puppies.
Fauci tortured him, huh?
Exactly, that bastard.
Yeah.
Okay. Now,
Yes.
I totally know the song,
Okay, good.
and I'm singing it right now. in my
I'm
head.
sure
I'm
you
doing
are.
it out
It's
loud.
pretty iconic.
I can't remember who sings it. It's I can see her.
Yeah.
I kind of know her name. It's like something Taylor, Bonnie Taylor, or something like that.
Bonnie Tyler. Yeah.
Tyler, okay.
There we go.
All right. Well,
Good.
I'm not going to give myself 100% credit for that.
You
Maybe
can get
maybe 75%. We're not on that Minneapolis
80,
curve.
85. Yeah.
All right, I'll take I'll
you-
take an A minus.
You
75%.
You really only had a couple of vowels stuck in instead of one other one. So
Well, I was never good at vowels.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the consonants better. I was good at those.
Yeah, like Antarctica, Australia, Asia.
You know, speaking of that, remember Jay Leno when he did the jaywalking bit?
Yes.
When he'd walk around and ask people. He went to like this, I don't know if it was a high school or college graduation. I just asked just stupid questions like, what's the address of the White House? And nobody knew it. Who's
Right.
blah, blah, blah. He asked this lady, he goes, there are 7 continents. Actually, 2 things stick out. 7 continents. Can you name any? And she couldn't name any. Finally, she said our own. And Jay goes, we'll accept that. Our own.
Our own.
And then I remember there was one where he asked, what were the 10 commandments? Can you name any? And this lady said, freedom of speech. Freedom. Hey, at least she knows the First Amendment or part of it.
Yeah. We'll take that. Most people don't know that nowadays. So.
Right. So, I mean, it was, it was hilarious. So,
Oh, goodness.
well, Jay, I tell
Good
you
times.
what.
Yes.
Let me just get back here. I know on my show we talked about some of the national stuff.
Yeah.
A new governor of Virginia. Also, the Republicans taking over the House of Delegates
Yeah.
by a 52-48 margin is supposedly the last I
Right.
heard. I don't know that all that's official.
Yeah.
But
For those of us just joining us, Andrew Richter has the Andrew Richter Show,
Absolutely.
also on Libsyn. It's a community
VHS,
solutions
Beta,
production, and
everywhere.
so,
So,
we're proud of that. Maybe I'll do one too sooner or later. I don't know.
maybe. What the heck? I might join that show once or twice.
We're all doing podcasts. It's great.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
So, and, Phil Murphy barely hanging on as predicted by me. I got both
true.
right this time. That's
You
kinda
did.
Scary.
And the Minneapolis thing you got
That's
right.
right.
We'll talk
Well,
about that later.
I
But
didn't get question 2 right though. Remember, I had.
Oh,
said
that's
I
right, you
thought it would
didn't.
Pass.
You thought it would pass.
All 3 would pass.
yeah,
Wrong on the police one.
no,
Although the election results are.
yeah,
It's Minneapolis, Jay. We have to temper any expectations
Right,
at all.
right.
I mean, we'll get into that in
Yeah.
a second. But first, Jay, good old Robbinsdale School District.
Oh boy,
As a Cooper graduate, the hits just keep on coming for my former school district.
Yeah.
I still live in the district in Plymouth, technically. I still get to vote for Larry, Moe, and Curley.
Yeah.
When the time comes, or whoever. I think next time I'm gonna write in.
Yeah.
I'll write in Janet El Reno.
El Reno.
Yeah. Who else? I'll write in. What's her name? What's one of Walls's women? What are they?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, come on, you do too.
No,
I'm not believing it.
What is the
that one lady?
the health?
Yeah, the health. I'll write her in
Okay.
because the district deserves her.
Governor Walz's health lady. Put that in.
It's gonna bug me. I gotta know.
I
Malcolm.
Malcolm,
Malcolm
that's
X.
it. Jan
Janet
Malcolm.
Malcolm X.
Yes.
Is it Janet?
Yes, has to be. I think Jan is usually short for Janet.
Jan Malcolm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll write in, I don't know, Scrappy Doo or whatever I'll write in for that. But here's the thing.
Scarf lady.
What's going on there now, boy? You gotta love. First of all, you got the teachers union president who wears a ponytail. At least the last time I seen him. Peter Eckhoff.
So he's sensitive.
That's right.
Okay.
He's sensitive. This is the president of the teachers union with a ponytail.
Yes.
And the assistant president.
Or assistant superintendent, Marty
that's what
Voigt.
I said. Marty Voigt. No relation
Yes.
to John, I'm guessing.
Probably not.
The school district may soon implement a vaccine mandate for all of its staff members. It's happening.
Yes.
And it's funny, we're having more deaths in Minnesota now than ever with 75% vaccinated. But we better be vaccinated or you can't teach at school.
Right. But this is all staff. This isn't just teachers.
Yes, all staff.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that includes like the bus drivers who are contracted out.
Yeah.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. Will be considered by the Robbinsdale School Board of Education on November 15th, coming up very quickly.
Yes.
According to the proposed policy, consequences to non-compliant staff will grow the longer they ignore the mandate. Board member Greta Evans Baker. Wait a minute.
She's the one that just got elected last time in 20.
Yes.
Yes.
Asked if staff members could be terminated for the proposal. Ponytail Eckhoff explained that disciplines union if the employee belonged to one. Well, which employee doesn't belong to one there?
Well, I don't think
You're
you have
negotiating
to.
with
But
what the union decides whether somebody can be fired?
that's the way it sounds. That obviously the unions have already talked to the district, and this isn't applied equally. Like, depending on which union you work with, your consequences will be different.
Really?
The way that I read this. And how is that workable? Oh, I belong to Robbinsdale Federation Teachers. I'm going to get a slap on the wrist. I belong to Education Minnesota. I'm going to get a boot in the backside. I don't know.
Every bargaining group has a slightly different pathway, Eckhoff said. It usually starts with low-level conversation and ramps up when there's not a response to the discipline being implemented.
So New York, the teachers union has a room set aside for all of the pedophiles that they're not willing to fire, but continue to pay while they sit in a room all day. But if you don't get a shot in the arm, you are going to progressively get more consequences until termination at some point.
That's what it sounds like.
Okay.
Don't it?
I guess so.
Board member John Bento commented that the policy was made in consultation with staff unions, all of which had been in unanimous support of its passage.
So there's your unions, teachers. I hope you're happy.
You believe that? If approved, the mandate will take effect January 1st, 2022. Staff will be required to provide human resources with a copy of their completed vaccination card or submit to a minimum of one COVID test per week. Staff in the process of receiving a 2-dose vaccination will be required to participate in a weekly COVID-19 testing until they're able to provide proof of both shots.
So for 40 years, if you're a new teacher and you don't want to get it.
Yeah, I guess so.
40 years of weekly tests.
The drafted resolution included reasoning from the state of Minnesota that staff working outside the home pose a particular risk to increase transmission of the virus, and that other public service institutions have passed similar mandates. Well, monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah.
The proposal would not require vaccinations for students. Well,
Yet.
I mean, that's coming.
Absolutely.
So the mandate will be voted at the 7 p.m. Well, obviously, it's going to pass. I mean,
They've already talked about it. It says here they've already talked about it. They have unanimous support from the unions, and they're all on board. What is there to decide? They just have to vote on it. It's a formality. This is what they do. They decide behind the scenes, and then once they have consensus, they bring it to a meeting to vote on it. It's crap.
Well, I mean, again, the idea that I mean, we're at a point now where if this vaccine was working, I mean, this vaccine clearly wasn't sold to us the way it has happened. I mean, we were told this was a vaccine, not it was still contagious and that vaccinated people would still spread it, that or whatever is happening. I don't, again, I'm not anti-vaccine. I'm not pro-vaccine. I'm anti-vaccine mandate for sure.
Absolutely.
I think it's none of your business whether I'm vaccinated against something. But teachers, this entire time, Jay, they refuse to go to work. They've butted in line to get the vaccine. They're not essential workers. They've proven not to be. And look, I'm not an anti-teacher either, okay? But the facts are the facts. Most of these people have either had it or had a vaccine. Same thing with the students. The idea that they're going to lose, I mean, you could lose good teachers over this.
Yes.
It just shows they don't care. They don't
Yeah.
give a shit whether or not they lose good teachers or not. What's Ponytail care? Just bring in somebody else who will pay the union dues.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like you said about this applying to everybody. I mean, it's right here. I'm looking at his LinkedIn page.
Does he have a ponytail on his LinkedIn page?
Ponytail and sunglasses.
Are you serious?
No, I'm Andrew, but yes.
Does he
it's
think
on
he's
here.
Corey Hart or what? I wear my sunglasses at night.
Yeah, but he doesn't have.
I wear my sunglasses to
He doesn't have
lead the
Corey Hart never had
Robbinsdale
a
Federation of
ponytail.
Teachers. That's true. Not to my knowledge.
Oh, there's a great picture with
Well, I mean, the real issue here, though, Andrew, is that this passes here. What's the next school district? Because we know that these places just copycat each other.
Well, let's
and
back
there's
up.
like the trial balloon.
They even admitted that this is happening in other places.
Mm-hmm.
They're just look for this to happen in cities, look for it to happen in counties, looking for it to happen in business. All the big businesses are on this, or they think they're all woke, so on and so forth. So I mean, I don't see any end to this. I see this as this is the back doorway to forcing everybody to get vaccinated. Instead of forcing people to get vaccinated, you're just going to require it here and there, and eventually everybody's just going to have to take it, whether they've already had it, feel they don't need it, they're young, and I mean, again, if you're 70 years old, do I think you should get the vaccine? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I do. That's because the average COVID death is something like 80 years old. If you're immune challenged or whatever you want to call it, autoimmune risk,
Right.
or something like that. I even think they should get a booster if they think like an annual. There's nothing wrong with. I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's something. I think you're entitled to some privacy when it comes to your health. Nobody asks me if I'm vaccinated against smallpox or something that could really kill people. I mean,
Yeah.
So I mean, I think it's, and I feel bad for the kids because they're going to have no choice in this matter. I mean, they're going to be used as pawns like they have been, like they always are. And I think it's sad. I think what you're going to see is the 5 to 11-year-olds. You're going to see it very low, and then sooner or later, Walls offering a case of beer to 5-year-olds is just not going to entice them enough, and so they're eventually just going to. We're headed towards, and I'll make a prediction right now that by next school year, the 22-23 school year, it will be a requirement for all students. And you know what? Yeah. I'm okay with that because the more people who leave public school, I'm just fine with it.
Absolutely.
So you want to make it? Let us vote with our feet. You go right ahead, you stupid morons. You do it. And I'm going to tell you something. You're never going to see. You think you've seen an exodus now, and you have from the public school. You're going to see one twice, 3 times the size. Actually, I'm not okay with it because it's not right. Just because it leads to results I want to see, doesn't make it okay. But I still feel that we are. I think we're going to have one in 2022.
Yeah, I think because I don't think they'll do this forever. I mean, did you? I don't know. Did we talk about it on the show that Walz unveiled a COVID vaccine incentive program, giving Minnesota kids $200 gift cards and a chance at a scholarship to college?
No,
we didn't talk about that. No. Oh yeah, but people should know that.
I thought it was a case of beer.
Right now, it's $200, $200 Visa gift card and a chance to win one of 5 $100,000 scholarships.
100 grand.
Yep. Anyone aged 12 to 17 is eligible.
How about the 5 to 11-year-olds? They get the case of beer.
Yeah. Why are they being discriminatory?
What about 4-year-olds? I mean, why can't they get the vaccine? Why are they left out?
Right.
By the way, speaking of Walz,
Yeah.
you know, I love how Walz was at Channel 5, and I normally like Tom Hauser, okay? I mean, he's one of the better people around here in the media.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like 2 or 3 that attempt to be objective. Everybody else is just an S. Me Murphy wannabe. Okay? Walz was asked about the results in Virginia and in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Now, here's something great about Tim Walz is his inability to
Answer a question.
answer a simple question with a simple answer, and the unbelievability of some of his answers.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are just, they're so not credible that it's amazing they get printed. Okay? So this article, this is at kstp.com if you want to read it, and it's not a bad article, but basically it's election results in Virginia and New Walz was asked about at the Mall of America on Wednesday about what happened in Virginia, and here's his, and in New Jersey. Yeah. Here's his answer: "I was elected to do the job in Minnesota." Quote, end quote. "I don't spend a lot of time watching other races. People in Minnesota over the next year, they'll decide where we're at." Yeah, right. Well, you did.
Yeah.
A sitting governor is not going to pay attention to governors' races when they're up for re-election next year. How does that get printed? I mean, I'm sorry, but how does that get printed? And
if you think there weren't 10 different conference calls going on among people in the Democrat Party the morning after,
he was
including Democrat governors.
They were all talking to each other. The talking points memo all went around. Come on.
Dog whistle, dog whistle, dog whistle, dog whistle, dog whistle.
Yeah, you're so... I mean, that was like when Walz was asked if he was going to run for re-election last winter.
Right.
I'm too focused on COVID. That's my number one thing. That very night, he attended a virtual fundraiser for his own re-election.
He did. Yeah.
I mean, that's just... I mean, it's so blanketly foolish. I can't believe that gets printed by Channel 5. I mean, that's believable. You know, that's like a baseball GM. So I'm just focusing here on the Brewers infield. I'm not watching the World Series to scout any players. Or
right.
What are you talking about? You're not. If you're not, that's a real call for
dereliction of duty. Yeah.
So, gee, God, give me a break. All right. Speaking of give me a break. No, I'm not talking about a Kit Kat.
Oh. I've never used that button before. That was good. All right.
Oh, Jay, what a night it was on Tuesday here, here in the state of Minnesota. I know your guy, Bob Kearney, did not take.
Really?
I know you endorsed him. That's what I heard.
No.
Okay, by the way.
Yes.
The circus that is Minneapolis. Hang on.
Yeah. Are you having trouble getting the... Oh, you're counting.
16 people running for mayor.
16.
Now, if there's ever a poster child for a primary, okay,
yes.
Now listen to some of these parties.
Can't wait.
Grassroots legalized cannabis. Their candidate was Marcus Harkis.
No. Marcus Harkis?
I went to a school with a guy named Marcus Harkis.
You did not.
I did too. And his buddy was Lars Larson. I remember that. We were playing basketball and dividing people up. And I'm like, okay, Marcus Harkis over here, Lars
Do you
Larson.
think it's the same guy? Did you look him up?
I don't know.
Look him up.
I don't know if he smoked a lot of pot back then, but he probably did. Cooper in the 90s. I mean, I didn't, but I'm sure. But he got Over 1,100 votes, Jay.
Wow.
First ballot.
I thought that would have been a made-up name.
No, Marcus Harkness.
Really, it's like the wedding singer. Your name's going to be Julia Gulia?
Or what was the name on Overboard?
I don't know.
Annie Gulahi. My wife would know.
Yeah.
Because that's one of her favorites. I like Kurt Russell, so I won't say.
Okay.
Kate Knuth. Now, Kate Knuth actually got something. I'll just go through it here. Yeah.
Kate Knuth.
Kate Knuth.
Knuff?
UTH.
Knuth? Oh.
Knuth,
Here I thought maybe she was related to the rock and roll singer Chip Zanoff. But
Zanoff?
yeah, that's I guess not
Zanoff.
close enough. Okay.
Republican Bob again. Republican Laverne Turner. Farmer labor. I guess he forgot the D part.
Yeah.
Tony Bedgeridis. Okay, now we have this one. Paul E. Johnson is from the party Equity in Motion. So if I took equity, wrapped it up in a ball, and threw it in the air, that's equity in motion.
I suppose so, as opposed to equity sitting on your butt.
Yeah. Isn't that like a soul song? Equity in motion.
Something like that, yeah.
Doug Nelson from the Socialist Workers Party.
Oh. How many votes did he get?
735.
Okay, not very many.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good sign.
A couple more Democratic farmer labor.
Yes.
Sheila Nezhad, A.J. Aweed.
He's already on the council, wasn't he? Or he ran?
I don't think
Maybe
so.
he ran against, what's his name, when they had that special election.
Could have been. I don't know. Libertarian the Honey Badger. Your buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Got about as many votes as Marcus Harkness. Maybe they can tag up next time.
Become one super candidate.
We got some more
Yes.
Democratic. Christopher David, Clint Connor, Mark Globus.
Globus?
Globus.
Globus. Globus.
Of course, Amber Fry.
Yeah.
Independent Alliance, Mike Winter.
Can you really have an alliance if you're independent?
Here's another independent. Kevin, quote, nobody, quote, Ward. Nobody is in quotes.
How many votes did nobody get?
280. 280 people cast their vote for nobody. Then we had Perry Gerald, who is the For the People Party. So just a total circus, just an embarrassment. I mean, Minneapolis should just hang their heads in shame after looking at this list of yahoos.
I mean, just it says something that their city elections are a joke.
I mean,
you know,
I'll tell you what. I wish we had good late night comedy like we used to have. Because they could have a field day with the elections in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
If we had Letterman, Jay, Conan, Carson, if we had the old crew, they could do a whole season just on these elections. Okay, so again, you had your second choice. I don't understand what that means. You had the third. Marcus Harkness got 3,800 votes as the third choice.
Wow.
And A.J. Awed led the way. 13,000, whatever that means. I mean,
I don't. It's not his first time running, so.
Okay. Well, maybe he's one of those Bob agains. Bottom line, Jacob Fry, somehow reelected. I don't understand how it happened, but because of this solution in search of a problem. But I'll tell you what, I want to jump now to the 3 ballot questions.
I'm going to argue he got reelected because he was not in favor of getting rid of the police.
Yeah, it could be.
It didn't.
And I think the opposition to him, when it's divided among 15 candidates, it's very difficult. When you consolidate the opposition, I think it's hard to oust somebody when there's 15 other people to vote for. Because even a handful of votes here and there
it could take,
divide
200 votes away.
I mean, easily.
Thousands of votes away. Yeah,
exactly. So, I mean, I think he could have been beaten if it was him and another person. But I think because it was so ridiculous. But everybody talk. Let's start with question 2, Jabe.
Okay.
That's the one everybody focused on, but I think the other two were interesting. Question 2 goes down.
Yeah.
To defeat 80,000 votes to about 63,000 votes. I mean, it was a 14-point margin, so it was 13 and a half. So it was a fairly decisively. And this is the removing. I mean, the explanation of this is more confusing than you could possibly imagine.
Right.
Trying to replace the police department, defund the police. They don't use those words, but that's the effect of this.
Right.
Where it goes down. Interesting, too, to see where the vote
that was interesting.
That you had the north and northwest Minneapolis voting overwhelmingly against it, as well as the southern and southwest and west. Picture like a big block C around, and that was pretty much the no vote, and the yes vote coming from the center east of the city. What do you make of where the yes and no vote, Jay, came from there in our favorite city of Minneapolis?
Oddly enough, most of the no votes came from people that own property.
Not a shock.
A lot of the
there,
yes votes to get rid of the police department were your white yuppie liberals in uptown and downtown. That's really it. I mean, even I'm trying to think from there if that's quite like the university there, if that's included in the yes area there. I think so. So. Yeah.
Dinkytown?
So Dinkytown, Uptown, and Dinkytown, Uptown, Downtown. Those are the areas where nobody has any skin in the game. Nobody owns anything. People ride their bikes, or they take the bus, or they take light rail. They rent. They don't. What are they trying to protect?
Well, and let me add something too. This is where. You have a lot of businesses there.
Yeah.
Remember, a lot of those business owners don't live there.
Right.
So it's kind of like you're going to remove the police department where somebody's business is in, but that business doesn't get a vote.
Right.
I mean, that's something that's really difficult because they're very much affected by a change like that. And yet they don't get any say unless they live in Minneapolis. I mean, they're property owners there too, and they don't, or they're the building manager.
Right. And I should say, I mean, there are a lot of rentals in like North Minneapolis and some areas of South Minneapolis, but they're house rentals. They're not
I know the
right. They own the homes, but it's the property managers, but it's the people that it's like owning a house because you have to defend your home from intruders. You have to protect your car from carjackings. You do own things when you live in those parts of the city, or you at least have the appearance of owning things.
Now let me ask this question here, just to back up a second.
Okay.
With this going down, okay, I'm going to predict we don't hear the end of this.
Oh, of course.
We're going to get into the makeup of the council now, and the media's kind of portraying this as a big defeat of this movement, but I have second thoughts on that. My question to you, though, is what happens now in other big cities? Now that one went down,
right?
Does Portland, Seattle, Chicago won't put it on the ballot, but are other cities, maybe not a city of that size, but a smaller city like Seattle, Portland, that have kicked around this idea, do they put it on the ballot? Do they get a second thought? Do they rebrand themselves as something else, play the word games? I mean, what happens in Minneapolis? I mean, do they try to circumvent this no vote? Do they come at it with another question that's worded different? I mean, what's the next step? Because this isn't over. We both know that. Jeremiah Ellison's still on the council. This isn't over.
No, it's not over.
So what's the next step?
I think these cities were watching, And, and they've got to have a plan now because they know that it isn't the will of the people, and they will show up and they will defend their police department. I don't think there's a city anywhere in the United States, even Seattle or Portland, where the people would vote to get rid of their police department.
They may support reforms. They may support changes. They may support...
They might support defunding, but they're not going to support eliminating.
So where does that leave those cities? How do they get around? Because we know that just because one thing lost doesn't mean it stops. I mean, we've seen referendums lose. We've seen constitutional amendments lose, and they come right back with a different campaign. I mean, we're looking at a rebranding of this somehow that,
Well, the left is never done until their work is done, I don't know if there's a way to rebrand this. There might be, and not push it so hard.
Well, I think Minneapolis tried, because remember, this went from defund the police to, we're going to change this to the touchy-feely department or whatever they wanted to call it, the public safety, blah, blah, blah. I think they tried to hide what they really want to do, but people weren't fooled by it.
Right. Well, I don't want to give them any ideas, but I'm sure...
Give them ideas. They're not smart enough to listen to us.
Well, they do, but they don't...
I know they listen, and I appreciate that.
Do it.
I mean, I know Lisa Bender, you're a big fan of the show. I get it, and we don't have you to make fun of anymore. She's gone in January.
We'll find new people. It'll be easy enough.
Felipe's gone? I mean, we'll get into that in a second.
I believe that what will happen, and maybe even some of these people that lost their council seats will go and try to get onto the load.
Something I can poison myself with?
When there are vacancies or when terms are up, you're going to find them overload those processes with their own people, trying to get a judge to appoint, because with a charter commission, a judge has to appoint the people. The city doesn't do that.
Okay, but you're right. But how does that get them the defund the police thing? Are they going to have to put something else back on the ballot?
Yeah, and if the charter commission's willing to look at it and vote yes on it, then it's done. All you have to do is change the makeup of the charter commission, and it's back on.
Oh, so they can make the change without a vote?
Yeah.
Well, I thought they had to have a vote on this to change the charter.
I don't think so. I think there's a couple of ways to change the charter, and I think one is going through the charter commission, because remember, originally they put the to dismantle the police, they gave it to the charter commission, and the charter commission did not vote yes, which would have changed the charter, or no, which wouldn't have changed the charter, but they voted to table it. And that tabled it for 30 days and got us past the election so that it could not be put on the ballot.
In 2020.
Right. So it got put on the ballot in 2021 because they came with a different way to do it. They came directly to the people.
Okay, so they can amend the charter and the city council can approve it without a vote to the folks.
Yes.
I didn't know that. I thought they had needed like a super majority just to get it on the ballot. Well, that's okay. So look for that charter commission, boy. And I hope that the no vote, I mean, you got 80,000 people who voted no. I hope they are.
Yeah.
My worry is they think this is done. And not understanding that behind the scenes, it's not done.
Don't celebrate. What you need to do next time there's a vacancy or somebody's term is up, if you're a regular thinking person, if you're a conservative or a liberal who doesn't want to get rid of the police, you need to get an application in and get on that charter commission, or else they will fill it up with crazies.
All right. Some other little known things. Question 1.
Yes.
I found interesting, which was about consolidating power to the mayor, which I found interesting because I actually am interested in this idea because I think the mayor should be the head of the executive part of the government.
Yeah.
Just like a president would be or a governor would be. And this amendment passed 52.41 to 47.59, which shifts certain powers to the mayor, consolidating administrative authority over operating departments and eliminating the executive committee. Now, the executive committee, and I didn't know this, was formed of the mayor, the president of the city council, which was Lisa Bender, but she's not going to be anymore because she didn't run again, and 3 members of the city council. So now Mayor Fry will be the one. Oh, right now, the only person he appoints is the police chief. Now, I believe he will be appointing all of the heads of the department.
Yeah, I like this as well.
I didn't realize this was on the ballot till election night. He's got no cover.
We knew he was a strong mayor. I mean,
well,
not really, but by title, he's a strong mayor. But I got to give him props for what he did standing up for the police. But
you know what? I do too. And I did nothing last summer but dump on his ass for his. But I blame Walz for that more than Fry doesn't control the National Guard.
Nope.
He asked for help but didn't get it. So
right.
I can see why when he didn't shave for 3 months and grew stubble. I mean, there was So yes, that passes. I interrupted you, Jay. Go ahead.
No, but we knew that he was a strong mayor. I didn't, I guess, understand that it was him and it was the mayor, the council president, which would have been Lisa Bender, and 3 additional council members that made up an executive commission. And he wasn't just like vetoing things outright, I guess, or maybe he had that ability, but it was
I think he
wasn't
has that
running
ability,
departments,
but not when it comes to the heads of the departments. That when it comes to the heads of the departments, it was basically a team decision, if you will. Now they will report to one person, not to an executive committee.
I actually am giving Minneapolis props. That was good.
I just hope people know what they were voting for.
Right.
So I don't think it was explained very well, and there's not a lot of detail in the explanation.
Yes.
Question thrice is about amending the city charter to regulate rents and to create a maximum increase on which a private rent can go up by ordinance. Now, Jay, you might be surprised to hear my answer to this.
Yeah.
I'm for this, higher than the percentage of rent.
Really?
I mean, if you jack up property taxes 10%, okay, that's a loss to that property owner. And we all know what happens. They just like a business, they pass off costs onto their customers. So you can't address one without the other. You can't. Government makes living so expensive.
Yes.
And yet they're going to look. I think rent is out of control. I think property is out of control. I think there's other ways to do this, me personally, but I mean, because nobody's looking at the why, and that's part of the, that's a podcast in and of itself.
Right.
But so they can now do that. However, there is a lack of specificity in this question as to what that means exactly. So I think it is. This passed, by the way, 53 to 47.
53 to 47.
So there was 75,000 yay votes, 66,000 no votes.
I would like to know what the percentage is of renters in Minneapolis.
Well,
I
know in Hennepin County it's about 25%. But I'm going to guess in Minneapolis.
Minneapolis and New Hope drive that up quite a ways.
New Hope's almost 40.
Yeah.
I would guess Minneapolis is close to that.
Yeah.
At least a third, maybe more. Are we doing riveting radio here while you?
Yeah.
All right, I'll sing want to sing a duet while you look it up?
Percentage of rentals in Minneapolis. That's the vacancy rate. I don't want that.
Percentage of renters, maybe.
Renter population has grown 13% since 2000 to 89,420 households. Households of color, blah, blah, blah. 45% of white households are renters, 80% of black, 80% of Native American, 75% of Latino, 66% of Asian. Well, that doesn't tell me overall.
Okay, I already found it.
Okay.
No, I didn't.
Well, Oh, okay. 55% of the households in Minneapolis are renter occupied. Well, 44% are owner occupied. So that tells you right there that, of course, that's going to pass because you've got people voting on their own goodies, right?
Or not understanding what.
Oh, they can't take my rent up,
Yeah, but they're not. Well, never mind. I won't get into. I would have voted for it. I'd have voted for it.
Even without the.
Yeah, I'd have still voted for it.
Don't understand your voting habits. We need to talk.
No, I would have voted yes on question 1, no on 2 and 3. That's what I.
Yeah.
Now the interesting part is the council.
Yeah.
Elections, because some places, Theo Keith on Channel 9 had a good analysis. I disagree a little bit with his conclusion, and he had a tweet storm yesterday about it. It was good reporting because Channel 9 was the first place to dissect the ranked choice voting and figure out who the hell won. So I'll give him props for that. And he had an analysis written on Twitter about it. About the council members who got voted out. There were 2 vacancies as well.
Yeah.
Wards 9 and 10. But I disagree a little with his conclusion. He's a decent reporter, so I'm not ripping on Theo.
Yeah.
But it had centered a lot, his analysis centered a lot on question 2 about council people supporting it who lost. However, the way I count it and the way it counts, the Channel 4 had CBS had a article on this as well. No votes still make up a majority of this council. Now, I think with Mayor Fry, and I think the minority is larger than it was.
Yes.
But, yeah, that's why I still come back to not out of the woods yet.
Right.
8 candidates supported question 2 that got elected or re-elected.
Okay.
5 got elected or re-elected who oppose it. Now, and one of the council members who opposed question 2, i.e. wanted to keep the police department, was the council person in Ward 1. What the hell is his name? I'll find it. Kevin Reich.
Yes.
And he got defeated by something called Elliot Payne. I'm going to look up that person.
Elliot Payne. Elliot Payne in my rear end or
maybe.
pain in my neck? I don't know. I don't trust anyone.
Okay, I see him on a bike with a dorky helmet and a mask. Okay, that's all I need to see. All you need to see is him in spandex with these sweat marks on the old heave ho. And so, I mean, there went down 1. Now, in Ward 2, which is Cam Gordon, a longtime council person, who's a greenie, got defeated by Robin Wansley Warablaw.
Yeah.
Also, Gordon supported question 2. So did Wansley Warablaw.
What's the difference? That must have been, I don't know.
Warablaw is a Democratic Socialist.
Oh,
so
they made a step up, yes.
Cam Gordon is Green Party. Gordon got the
nudged
third most
to the left.
first place votes. There was also a person called, oh boy, Usara Arab, who got more votes as well. So Warablaw. See, here's what I don't understand about ranked choice voting. So Warablaw gets the most first place votes.
Right.
However, Arab and Gordon
Arab
both got more second and third place votes than Warablaw. So tell me, how is Warablaw the winner?
It has something to do with
a first place vote is worth X amount. A second place is worth like picking the Cy Young Award winner.
Yeah, it's so confusing. But like, you have to have a plurality, which seems weird when you're running 75 billion candidates. But basically, they use, it would be easier if you had two people, who has the plurality, right?
Well, yeah, like why don't we have a primary and knock this down to...
Because they don't want to. They want to have 75 million candidates. So by having 75 million candidates, you have to take a total of the first votes, second votes, and third votes and try to figure out who, with all of those totaled up, passes the plurality.
Wow.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Can I say something about that? D-U-M, dumb.
Yes.
Okay. Word thrice.
Yes.
Right, hang on a second. Word 3.
Yes.
Steve Fletcher was the council
Yes.
person there.
Yes.
Defeated by Michael Randville.
Michael Randeville.
Michael Randville was a supporter of the police department. Fletcher was an opponent of the police department. So now we're even.
Yeah.
Word 4, there was another flip.
Yeah.
Latricia Vitaw.
Yeah.
Is there anybody in this race named Bill or George or something like? Okay,
Sure.
forget it. Defeated Felipe Randall Cunningham. Cunningham was a supporter of question 2. Vitaw was an opponent of question.
Very good.
So another one bites the dust.
Mm-hmm.
Ward 5 and Ward 6, question 2 supporters won.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremiah Ellison, your buddy,
Yeah.
and Ward 6, Jamal Osman. Now, Jamal Osman, this is interesting. Here's ranked choice voting. Okay?
Yes.
There's 2 candidates in that race.
Mm-hmm. Only 2.
The other person was named A. Bihai. A as a first name.
Bye, hi.
A. Bihai.
Is that like aloha? It means yes.
And you'll be glad to know Osman
Yeah.
got the most first place votes.
Okay.
Bihai got the most second place votes. And then Osman got the most third place votes.
Oh, okay.
So explain that to me.
I don't know. He must be Hawaiian, though, because bye-hi is like aloha. You're saying goodbye and hello.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Is that like the Beatles song?
Yes,
You
just like
say
it.
hello and I say goodbye. All right.
Yes,
So
just like it.
something like that. Okay. Now, Ward 7, Lisa Goodman, who was reelected, and she opposed question 2. 8. Oh, I love it. 8. Andrea Jenkins, formerly Andres, now Andrea.
Andres.
She
Maybe Andrew.
yeah, I just don't want to say that. Defeated
Yes.
Robert Bob Sullentrop by quite a wide margin there.
Okay.
Now, wards 9 and so again another
Andrea Jenkins was for or against
yes,
the
for question 2.
Okay.
Now, 9 and 10 were vacant.
Okay.
Alondra Canoe, just a piece of work she was, and Lisa Bender's seat, who also did not run again. And they were both supporters of question 2 that got elected. Jason Chavez. Now, I don't know where these wards are, by the way, so
Right.
I don't know what this. And Aisha Chugatai.
Perfect.
Cha-
That's beautiful.
I got to come up with a nickname for, I would say it's a her, but Chugtai.
Jug tie?
Tongue tie?
Jug tie?
Chug tie, because there's an H.
Oh, chug
Chug-
tie?
Okay. By the way, hold on. One of the candidates
What?
in Ward 3 was Mickey Mouse.
No. No.
Mickey
There
Mouse
was an actual
got
Mickey Mouse.
906 votes.
Then not a write-in?
14%.
Not a write-in?
No.
Hey, kids.
Well, I'd love to see us a debate. All right, Mr. Mouse, your turn.
Well, gosh. I think we need to get rid
What
of
a
the
what
police.
what a list of people. A.J. Flowers. This is word 9.
Yeah.
Carmen Means, John Randall Dennison, Brenda Short, Yusuf Haji, Ross Tennyson, Mickey Mouse, and Jason Chavez.
Wow.
That was word 9.
Mickey Mouse. This is why Minneapolis is
Oh, I love it. I just love it. Okay, now,
Yes.
word 11. The council person there, Jeremy Schroeder, was a strong supporter of question 2. He got defeated by an opponent of question 2,
Good.
Emily Koski. And he
Huh.
was defeated on 58 to 30 on the first ballot.
Wow.
So that must be southern Minneapolis. or
Yeah.
Ward 12, a supporter of question 2, was reelected, Andrew Johnson. And in Ward 13, the council member was reelected, Lisa Palmisano, but
Yes.
she's opposed question 2. So by my count, this is the scorecard here. 4 supporters were reelected. 2 who opposed it were reelected. Wards 9 and 10 went to supporters, and then 3 others went down to supporters to question 2. So hard to keep track of all that, I know.
Yeah.
But that is how it went down.
Yeah, it must not be. Okay, so Ward 1 is it's east of the Mississippi River. It looks like and it goes from the northern border down to goodness, where is that? I can't even read this stupid map. It goes down I would well, maybe not quite to that warehousey district. Trying to find where some of these streets are, like Broadway, that could actually kind of tell me what's what here. But it's Ward 2 is right below Ward 1, and that's on the eastern border there, crossing the river. So, like, part of downtown would be in there and stuff. Ward 3, so Ward 2 would be like west bank of the university. I guess maybe Dinkytown up across the river into some of that stuff up there. Ward 3 is northeast of there. They don't put any roads. This is ridiculous. But then they go up to the northwest corner for 4. 5 is just south of there. And then you'd think 6 would be below that, but it's not. It's 7. And then they skip over and do 6 below that. Where's 7? Oh, 7 was up there. That's right. 8 is southern Minneapolis, right in between like Lake Nokomis and Calhoun or Bde-Makaska. 9 is just northeast of there. 10 is just northwest of there. Then 11 is on the southern border with Richfield right in the middle. Then you have 12, which is just east of there over to the St. Paul border and the Richfield border. And then 13, which is to the Richfield border and the Edina border. So going around the lakes over there. So, yeah. I don't know if that helps at all.
No, not really.
Not really. None of the maps are very good.
Of course they're not.
Yeah. But, yeah. So it kind of gives you a sense of where things are at, though, north and south, east and west. It doesn't really help. I could do it by neighborhoods, but that would mean we'd be here till next week. So doesn't matter. It's all a mess over there, anyways, and it's not. I don't know. Like you say, it's a little better. It's a little bit better than it was and I don't know. Because before they had enough votes on the council to override Jacob Fry's veto.
Oh, God, yes.
But now I'm not sure that they do.
Well, and I'm also not too necessarily, although I would have never supported it, but, I mean, I don't know that
Right.
it necessarily lines with the defund the police and all that, but I still think you have a majority that are extremely hostile to the law enforcement, which is in their charter that they're tasked with doing. It's not an option.
You're not going to see crime get better. You're not going to see more money going to the police force. You're not.
Probably
because
not.
The city council decides that, not the mayor.
Yeah, and you've seen the consequences of that. I mean, we've seen the shootings, the carjackings, the total lawlessness that has gone on. I mean, more people have died. More people under 18 have died from the lawlessness in Minneapolis than from COVID. Mm-hmm. And yet, look at how each of them are being treated.
Yeah, well, maybe there should be a vaccination against crime. Oh, wait, we got rid of that in Minnesota, didn't we?
Ha, pretty much.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Yes.
Let's escape Minneapolis for a little bit and go on to school board elections, Jay, because there were some of those. You and I have talked a lot about critical race theory and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And there were some elections that happened throughout. I'm going to Alpha News here where they reported on some anti-critical race. It was a big issue in Virginia in the governor's race there. I still think the economy was a bigger issue, but I think the top state issue really was education.
Yeah.
And anti-critical race theory candidates won some seats across Minnesota on Tuesday.
It's even popular here.
One in the Anoka-Hennepin district, won by over 30 points.
Wow.
He actually had this gentleman, Matt Audette. His campaign was centered around critical mass theory, opposing COVID vaccinations, and opposing mask mandates.
Wow.
His yard sign actually says no critical race theory on it.
Nice.
So certainly made that a central part of the campaign. Another lady down in Lakeville won a special election. Cinta, is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
Cinta Schmitz won a special election to create after Zach Duckworth. What's a Duckworth? Was elected to the Minnesota Senate. Smith won by a very close race, 49.69 to 48.18. And she ran on a platform very similar to that, opposing the equity agenda, opposing vaccine mandates, opposing mask mandates, and supporting parental rights to make medical decisions for their kids. Eric Tesmer in Washington County, where he ran with a slate, secured one of the available seats there, speaking out against racial equity and inclusion policy. Well, somebody spoke out against that and won?
Yeah.
Hey, you listen to the regular Republicans, that's not possible. You've got to consolidate to that.
Yeah.
Right? You can't run on stuff like that. And, there were other people who did too across the state. A friend of ours won.
Yeah.
The Big Lake, Derek Nelson, special election there.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations, Tim. Did you look at any of the referendums throughout the...
I think they all passed, didn't they?
Well, I mean, I can't say yes or no there, but...
it just boggles my mind that, it didn't take long for parents to get this whole critical race theory thing and become, upset about it. And I think that's because it's had some media help, from conservative media, Fox and Alpha and things like that. But if we would have the same kind of education around these school referendums and how these schools are not accountable for the money that they spend, and how, some of this tech stuff that they're spending could be going to pro-critical race theory groups that are collecting information on students and parents, like Merrick's kid, and so I hope that we begin to be a bit more judicious with our money as well.
Well, and I also wonder, and this is just my thinking here. I'm also wondering, is this also a result of what happened with parents when kids went home?
Yeah.
And they maybe saw firsthand what was being taught.
Right. Where you're never going to find out what they're spending money on ever.
Well, but I mean, seriously, could it have been something like that? Could it have been, at that point where that was kind of the awakening, that in actuality, the schools, the teachers, and all that refusing to go to the classroom, in the end, is biting them in the arse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure we didn't. I'm sure there weren't a lot of ones that went down, or we'd be here squawking about it. Well, some not so great news in Golden Valley. I'm sure Twitter will eat this up. That your buddy, Jillian Rosenquist and Denise Lemire Anderson,
Democratic Socialists.
both elected.
Yes.
God, geez, only 200 votes for Orville Christian Satter.
I am dejected about that.
Well, the two other, I guess, serious candidates, Andy Johnson, he came in third, only a couple hundred votes behind.
He had a lot of signs around Golden Valley.
Okay, I didn't really notice. And Joni Clausen,
My word.
who finished fourth, and then everybody else got like 200 votes apiece. Where did we find Orville Christian Satter? Remember that guy?
Yeah, I don't know that we found him anywhere. He was on the list from the Secretary of State website, and I don't think he had a website. Orville Christian Satter.
Wait a minute, he had a
Orville.
he showed up at the forum.
That's good. What?
I'm just looking at him here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know.
Golden Valley is just a pot.
Same thing in St. Louis Park. St. Louis Park and St. Louis Park School Board. I think there were 3 open spots on the school board. There were 3 people that ran. We'd covered before with St. Louis Park. There was only one race that was contested. The rest of them were all
I thought
uncontested.
ranked choice voting was supposed to bring all these candidates.
Yeah.
And we had Margaret Rogg.
Yeah. Who came in first place and first, second, and third.
Yeah.
Because there was nobody else. Why do you even need...
Lynette Lungay Demalalog.
Wow.
I don't understand the first choice. I still don't understand the first choice. If Sue Budd...
Yeah.
Did Sue Budd win it then?
Yes, she must have won that. Gene Eugene came in third, or whatever his name is.
Sue Budd on the racially equity leadership team.
What? Have fun with all that.
Hang on, I'm still not getting any whether Sue Budd was declared the winner or not.
I believe she was. I think it was Sue Budd, and then who was the one under that?
For an equitable St. Louis Park.
And then Saul Eugene or whatever was third, I think. So
Well, it don't make no sense.
Of course it doesn't. That's the whole thing of ranked
No,
choice
it's not.
voting.
It doesn't. It don't.
Yeah.
Because Sue Budd got the most first place votes,
Yeah.
the second most second place, and the third most third place. Now, Jim Luther.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to win. It's the total of all three.
Something like that.
Hang on.
But I don't know if they're weighted equally.
Sue Budd got 1158.
Okay.
Jim Luther got 1270.
They can't be weighted the same then.
And then
First
Eugene Saul
choice
but
has to count more than
how is it
second.
with three people can you get? If they're all weighted the same, then what's the point of first, second, and third?
Right.
What damn word is this?
This is why all of you people that are putting ranked choice voting in, A, you don't have enough excuse me, you don't have enough candidates in suburbs to make this make any sense. B, when you third choices. It's just dumb. You got two people, you're looking for a plurality, just have one choice. You want this one or you want this one.
Sue Budd was declared the winner.
Yes.
And I don't get it. I don't understand.
Yeah. First choice has to be ranked more than a second choice. It's ranked choice, It's not just choice. Choice voting is different than ranked choice voting.
So the threshold for declaring a winner is 50% of the vote total plus one.
Yes.
But nobody got that in the first round. I don't understand.
Now, the vote total, is that voter total or is that would have to be vote total because they're each picking three?
I have no idea. I don't effing know.
Good times. I'm glad that they put in
St. Louis
such
Park,
a
you
good system.
suck.
I'm glad that they...
I just don't I don't get this. Sue Budd received the most votes, but not have 50%. She had 43%.
Right.
Overvotes, undervotes, and undeclared write-ins will be eliminated in the next round of counting. The next highest choices on the ballot will be added to the totals of the remaining candidates.
Right.
What?
So overvotes are, you can pick three and you pick four because you can't count.
Yeah.
Undervotes are you can pick three and you only pick two because you can't count.
Or you
So
don't
those
want
are
to
all
do it.
eliminated. You have to pick three. So if need be, you pick the same person three times or whatever,
So my ballot's then thrown away?
Yes. If you undervote or overvote, it's tossed. At least it makes voting easier.
No, it don't. I still don't get how she won.
Yeah. You know what?
What's the next round of voting? I don't understand it because she lost the next round.
Right. I think we're going to have to do a special on ranked choice voting so that we can understand it better and everybody else can understand it better. Because, this is something that Duluth looked at and rejected. Duluth, which is no better than any of these other cities. So I don't know.
How do you get to round? So in round 3,
It's more choices than a round. You select them all at once, and then they look at your first choice, and they look at your second choice, and they look at your third choice. And yeah, it's a mess. It is a mess, and I hope that people in these cities begin to realize the mess that it is. Although they won't because they're staying in Democrat hands. It won't get turned away from ranked choice voting. Because the Democrats want this. They want the confusion. They want to mess with the votes. They want to not have it clear. They don't want people to know who won on election night. They want the ability to be able to mess with things afterwards. And that's really it.
we got to have somebody to explain this come on the show.
Yeah. Is there anybody? I don't know if there is.
Well, I'll call up Lisa Bender. Maybe she'll come on the show and explain.
Oh, I'm sure she's waiting with bated breath for your call.
Why not? I mean,
What's she doing nowadays? Well, no.
exactly.
She's got till January. She'll
Why
be busy.
not come on and speak to us? I mean, you reach a different audience.
Yeah. Come explain to us why it's better.
I want somebody to explain it because it shouldn't be so hard
Mm-hmm.
to figure out who effing what. I still don't understand it in St. Louis Park.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, round 2, round 3. Well, it's not really. What is it then?
Yeah, it's just
It's chaos. It's just chaos.
that is what they want. Yes, I would agree.
And let me ask you this, Jade.
Okay.
Why is this better than having a primary? I mean, what is the thinking behind not having? It's funny how once again, everyone's conservative when it comes to
Right.
elections. When you're elections, everybody's conservative. Well, we don't want to hold primaries; it costs money. Well, you don't oppose anything else that costs money. It's true.
Yeah. That has been our opinion for a long time. I guess it's not opinion; it's true.
Yeah, it's an absolute fact.
Spend money on, TIF districts.
They'll spend money studying used underwear, but they don't want to have a primary so you can vote.
Right.
It's just crazy. So it's just, yeah, I don't understand. I mean, the invitation is open if somebody wants to come in here and explain this because I am just lost on it. And I mean, you got to ask yourself, do you want every election to be some crapshoot like it is in Minneapolis? I mean, is that really what you want? And having, ridiculousness like you're seeing there. Do you want 16 people? You want Mickey Mouse on the ballot? I mean, doesn't that just make a mockery
Yes.
of,
Kind of in favor of that because it deserves to be mocked.
Yeah, but it also is. You know what? You're right, but it's also serious. And
Absolutely.
I think that while I get it that it's silly, it's also serious. I mean, because you're seeing again this nonsense getting, like you said. I mean, Duluth, and maybe that stalled it for a while. Because we really haven't seen this get taken up by very many cities or anything since.
No.
There's only
Bloomington,
there's
Minnetonka.
there's like 6 in the entire state.
Yeah.
Okay, so that reminds me. Speaking of Minnetonka,
Yes.
don't they have odd year elections out
Yes,
there?
they do. They had their ranked choice voting. 3 choices for 2 candidates
Yep,
in a lot of them. Yeah.
that's right.
It just
I
doesn't make any sense.
Cannot tell who won. Oh wait, I can tell who won that race. I mean, this is just silly.
Right.
So for the mayor, there's 3 choices, but only 2 people ran.
Right.
So
Ranked choice voting has no place
listen,
anywhere.
hold
but
on. Listen to seat A.
Suburbs, it's just dumb.
Seat A.
Yes.
Okay, here's the names: Iola Kostrowski, Win Ray, Karen Albrecht, Deb Calvert, Marshall Glenn. Listen, look at those beauties.
Deb Calvert's been on the Minnetonka Council for a while, I believe.
Yeah, she overwhelmingly won in the first. 54% of the vote on the first. And I'm guessing Kimberly Wilburn was the other winner.
So that was a pick 2.
No, those were seat A and seat B, whatever that means.
Okay.
Again, I got to figure it out to frickin'. It's Dr. Wilburn.
Oh, okay.
kind of doctor, I don't know, but
Like Joe Biden doctor or like Anthony Fauci doctor?
I don't know.
Neither
I
one's
am a
good.
mother. I am a wife, a veterinarian,
Oh, a real doctor.
scientist, a community organizer.
Oh, boy. I guess technically we're community organizers too.
I
But
absolutely am not. Definitely on the left. Senate District 44 Forum with Patty Akam and Jenny Cleaborn, who are
yeah,
Democratic representatives.
yes.
She must have won.
Minnetonka, what happened to you?
Hey, she enjoys biking.
That means more bike paths are coming to Minnetonka. Just wait till they make Minnetonka.
Minnetonka aspires
Yeah.
to be an inclusive community
Does it?
committed to excellence where all residents, workers, and visitors are welcome. Yeah, there's a sign on Minnetonka that says certain people aren't welcome, right?
Right.
We can achieve
All
that.
visitors keep out.
Blah, 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 same crap.
I hate to tell you this, but Minnetonka, there's a whole lot of people of a whole lot of different walks of life that live there already. I think it's pretty inclusive. I think a lot of Indian people live out that way, and I mean from India. They come and they work the tech jobs or whatever they do, and a lot of them live in really nice places, nice townhomes, nice houses out that way.
Well, she got endorsed by every DFL group.
Of course.
Sierra Club,
Ugh.
Out Front Minnesota, Stonewall DFL,
Mm-hmm.
Minnetonka Climate Initiative.
They have a climate initiative. We're going to have to
so.
look at that. You have to take notes here. Climate initiative and ranked choice voting.
I don't want to look up.
We might have talked about that before. We did a show on some of the climate initiatives that cities were coming up with. They might have been on that one. Yeah.
When I move, Jay, I can't move to a place with ranked choice voting
Yeah.
because I'm going to take my ballot, turn it sideways, and do something with it. So how many cities in Minnesota have ranked choice voting?
Well, you thought 5, right?
Well, there might be more. There's 5 I can think of off the top of my head. But,
Okay. Bloomington, Minnetonka, Minneapolis, St. Paul,
in Golden Valley.
Golden
Or no,
Valley.
in
No?
St. Louis Park.
St. Louis Park. Yeah. Okay.
Fair Vote, Minnesota.
Yes. Those are the lovely people pushing that around the state.
Well, Dean Phillips, one of the people supporting it.
Of course he does.
Hey, how about Dr. Michael Osterhuus?
Oh, of course. You're in Washington. Stay out. Does it say anywhere? Usually,
I'm looking.
usually groups like that will have a list. I don't know.
Well, their list
They
ain't
must-
the longest.
Well, that's a good thing. It's not like Green Cities where we have a lot of work to do.
You know, it actually doesn't really say.
Really? Yeah, when you're not in the reveling stage of your movement, sometimes you don't want to print that stuff, when you're in between.
Okay, hang on.
Yeah, you find something?
Well, it just says more than 24 cities in 17 states use ranked choice voting for local elections.
Mm-hmm.
5 cities in Minnesota, that's it.
That's it. Okay.
So it's only 5 out of 853.
We know who they are.
Yeah, so it has been stuck for a while. I mean, I can't think of a city that's implemented it since St.
Yep.
Louis Park.
Hey, this is good. Minnesota RCV champions. They can't fit the whole word champions on the screen because they didn't change the font size.
Turn it sideways.
Yeah.
Doesn't it work?
Yeah, that works.
Okay.
But good way to go with the font size there, guys. The champions in Minnesota: Tim Walls, Peggy Flanagan, Tina Smith, Dean Phillips, Angie Craig, Ilana Moore, Steve Elkins, Kent Ecken, Cedric Frazier. There's a whole list of these. Of course, Cedric Frazier. Lindsay Port.
Or if you're Cedric
Esther
Frazier, you can
Agabaje.
just get appointed to a city council.
Yeah. Mary Kunish. Arnie Carlson. Oh, dope.
God,
Just change parties already.
God,
Go hang out with Bill Crystal somewhere.
Hasn't he?
Go hang out with Bill Crystal somewhere and hold a torch.
They can go start a war somewhere.
Mark Dayton, Dave Durenberger, Tim Penny.
Well, I'm not surprised. Why do third-party candidates support it so much?
I don't know.
Where does it help the third-party candidate?
Never.
So why do they support it so much?
I don't know. Tom Horner as well.
Yeah. I'm not surprised. He used to work for Dave Durenberger.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. You're right. So I don't know.
God, it's a joke. And yeah, it's one of the things, too, that a lot of independents and libertarians and people like that support that. It's just
Yeah. Independence Party, the Libertarian
whatever
Party,
exists, if it
Green
exists,
Party, and the Democrats. You got to look at who is supporting this and say to yourselves, there's a reason why they're supporting this. I maybe need to look into it a little more, because the bill of goods that I'm being sold maybe isn't what I'm getting.
But I'm still lost as to why they all support it. I mean, why does Dean Phillips support it? What's his rationale? Does he want 15 people on the ballot against him? And
They'll never happen to federal elections.
well, it could.
Well, Joe Biden's president long enough, and we don't
Well,
take the House and Senate back.
You keep saying we, okay? So you
I
keep
mean,
saying we.
somebody who is in opposition to that group.
Well, who decides that? I mean, the Federal Election Commission, or who makes up rules like
For a federal election, I guess probably, well, nobody listens to the Constitution anymore. I was going to say it might need an amendment.
Well, the
I think it would
Constitution
hard to
doesn't
get
say
done.
you have to have a primary, and the Constitution
Yeah.
doesn't say only 2 people can be on the ballot.
True.
We made up those rules.
Yeah.
So, I mean, why couldn't it change?
I don't know. Well,
In the presidential, forget the president race, because that
yeah.
is different. But why couldn't, why couldn't something else? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, all I know is people are messing with our elections, and we got to get them out of our elections and restore the integrity and the ease of use and the accountability to our election system. Because what happened in Minneapolis and how we couldn't figure out what was going on in St. Louis Park, or it's just ridiculous. You got 2 candidates running for something in Minnetonka, and you have still 3 choices. Why do you need 3 choices for 2 people? It's dumb. Why do you need 3 choices for 1 person? It's dumb.
Why do you need 3 choices for 3 candidates?
It's dumb. Yeah.
That'd be funny if somehow you had 3 choices for 3 candidates and somebody still lost.
Well, they can. I think you can choose the same person, all 3. So.
And, here's the thing, too. These are supposed to be nonpartisan races. Can we say that again?
Yes.
They're supposed to be nonpartisan races.
Supposed to be.
It's not. You're not supposed to be endorsed by Stonewall DFL or whatever, the biking committee. I mean, you're not supposed to be endorsed by them. Why is it that? I mean, again, the same people who are pushing these changes are the same people that are still doing the partisan stuff. I mean, what, just.
And all of you that run nonpartisan really should make an issue out of that.
Yeah, I don't understand why they don't. I don't understand why people don't. I think people, for some reason, just do not want to. I don't like calling a campaign negatively, because you're not campaigning negatively. You're telling the truth about your opponent. Hey, my opponent is endorsed by a bunch of groups of people that don't live here and are influencing your election, spending money here, and they don't live here. I think that's a legitimate thing to bring up.
Absolutely it is.
But, I mean, how is that negative campaigning? It's factual.
Absolutely.
And yeah, you're right. I mean, It has to change that way, and I think people when they run have just got to run harder. I don't know what I think the people who are endorsed sit back and let the machine just sort of try to run for them, and it's just kind of I don't know.
Yeah, although we've seen in some cases where that does really work, and whether it's the other person who's not working hard enough, or I think it's always able to be overcome. In the end, people don't care about all the money and the support and if you can make a case why it's a bad thing. You know what I mean? You make a case that you're being bought off by these big groups. I think that's sometimes enough to get people to reject it.
I hope so. I mean, I really do. So,
yeah.
It's just kind of a shame that, but again, as we've pointed out, why are they doing it? They're doing it to set up that next round of people to run for the legislature. It's the same thing that we've preached just over and over and over to people that you have to they're building their base from the ground up. So in a way, they're taking a page out of our book and doing it the way we design. Just it's not the people we like.
Right.
All right, Jay. Well, the odd year election analysis, once again, we'll do it again in 2 years, provided I sign a contract extension. Because, again, I go back to this. We should not have elections right now. It is a joke to have odd year elections. It's a joke to have odd year referendums. I hate them. They should be done away with.
Yeah, I was talking to my mom, and just to prove a point, we were doing some research on a certain city, not for this year, but for next year, or was it? Yeah, only 24% of the people voted in the previous odd year election for a referendum. I was telling that to my mom because they have in Duluth the odd year elections, and she kind of looked through. Yeah, only 21% of people voted here. 21.
Ridiculous.
Citywide election, big city, big important stuff, money, socialism, all this stuff going on. 21% of people.
Well, let's get back here to Golden Valley. Even 22,000 people in Golden Valley, and candidate wins with 2,000 votes.
Right.
I mean, come on.
You're dumb.
I mean, how do you represent the people when
2% of the vote?
I
mean 2% of the people.
Yeah, how do you represent how do you say a majority of anybody agrees with you when you get that?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sorry, but they are a joke. I'd like to know. In fact, bring Lisa Bender's ass in here again for that. I want to know why they run odd year elections.
Bring her back again. She hasn't been in yet.
I know, but I was going to bring her for the first time to yell at ranked choice voting. Now I want to know odd year voting. Why is that? I mean, is that a charter thing in Minneapolis? It has to be, because when Crystal changed a long time ago, they had to make a charter change to do that. And so I'm sure it was the same thing, that Crystal had a weird system back in the 80s. Gary Grimes told me about it once, that there were like 3-year terms, and there were...
What?
Yeah, it was really goofy. And he got in right around the time that they changed it. So, in fact, I think he was a part of changing it, actually.
That I would believe so.
Yeah, I'm sure he was. And so, but yeah, he told me that it was just, you'd get elected in an odd year, get reelected in an even year, it was the biggest, wackiest thing. So, like every year they were having 1 or 2 council seats up, which is just
dumb.
Yeah, I didn't know that until I ran and talked to him and Carol, his wife, about it.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Yeah, they used to have you think it stinks now? You should have been here in 1990." So like, I was just too young to vote. Yeah, so. All right, Jay.
Yeah.
Once again, the odd year analysis is over. And it is that time again. Jet flying, limousine riding, wheeling, dealing, son of a gun. Here to give us his words of wisdom. Sign off sermon. Everyone, pay attention. It is Community Solutions Zone. Jason Bradley. Jay, take it away.
Thank you, Andrew. Hope I live up to the hype. Well, we got another round of elections under our belt. And there were some good things that happened. And there were some not so good things that happened. It's really a mixed bag. We're seeing a lot of progress, though, especially with school boards and parents that are just upset about what their kids are learning with critical race theory, critical gender theory, that are not happy about the decreasing graduation standards and just to watch their kids just kind of flounder, and they're either in classes that are too easy or they're too hard. Some of them it's just right, but for the majority of kids, it's hard to put everybody together. But I guess when you're not really teaching math or science or social studies or any of that, it's not really a big deal, is it? When you're not worried about really teaching people good grammar, it's okay to speak with not good grammar. You don't have to speak English well because your culture demands that you don't need to. We are watching America be dumbed down. And it's affecting us because we don't know what's right anymore. And we don't know how to, not only how to process what we see happening before us, but we also don't know how to speak out properly about it. And we see the goofballs on one side that are burning down buildings and, marching without masks on, while at the same time they're crying out about wearing masks. And it just gets confusing. But it doesn't have to be. Not if we all knew the truth. It really doesn't have to be. We need to understand the history, stand up and do what's right. That people didn't rest until slavery was gone. From the moment that this country was incepted, that there was always a push to get rid of slavery until finally it happened. And then you still had segregation in the South, and worked hard to make sure that everybody could live here with the same experience, the same hopes, the same rights. After all, we believe that certain rights are unalienable, self-evident, given to us by God himself. And it's funny that the same group of people, they shapeshift, First of all, they're pro-slavery. They're forming the Ku Klux Klan. Then they kind of go away and rebrand and come back as big government progressives that come up with plans that enslave people. Here's some money. Here's a pittance. You just need to give us a little bit of your rights, a little bit of your freedom. And that's the way it works. But now they've got the end in sight, and they're pedal to the metal because they think they can get this done. Well, I tell you that they can't, because it is a small fraction of people, 8 to 10% of people who, yes, have gotten in to control our schools, to control top positions in government, to control groups that oversee and help with the family, that control some of our mainline denomination churches, that control the media, that control arts and entertainment, and that are the heads of our largest corporations. But you know what? There are more of us than there are of them. They don't have to win. No. We just need to have faith. We need to return to our roots, and we need to find what's important so that we can stand on those principles until we are able to have the confidence and the numbers to fight back and win. And I don't mean go to war, not in a physical sense, but I mean taking those positions back. I mean running in elections and winning. I mean standing up in our school board meetings, our city council meetings, our county board meetings, our soil and water conservation meetings. I mean standing up in those areas and telling them no on this stuff. I mean going before your sheriff and telling him or her, hey, this is important to me. Getting those of you who are lawyers to run for things like county attorney, to take these positions back because they're important. So we've got to band together. Everybody has to stop running around trying to make their own kingdom when really we're all in this together and we all fulfill different parts. We're all parts of the same body. We are people that do not want to go off the cliff together. We want to stay. We want to rebuild. And we don't agree with what's going on. But to do that, we need numbers. We need people who are sold out to liberty. So what are you going to do? You've got a couple of options. One is to just disregard this and move on with life as though it's some sort of, cosmic happenstance and it'll all work itself out in the end. Or we can be responsible for what we've been given in this life. We have all been created with good works prepared for us ahead of time. We need to step into those good works. We need to walk in those good works, and we can't do anything else. I'm not saying that there's not time to recreate. I'm not saying that there's not time to rest. But our back's against the wall because we've been resting too dang long. We've made lifestyles out of vacations, lifestyles out of recreation, lifestyles out of video games and movies and books and TV and playing tiddlywinks and whatever. Anything to not have to do the adult thing, the hard thing of stepping up and walking in maturity. We've all been called to do something, and we got to do it. Our country's on the line. Our children are on the line, and our grandchildren are on the line. You lose freedom now. It's not coming back. We do enter into a very dark period of time. Where else do we go? So, that leads me to the point of all this. It is time. Time to stand. Time to organize. Time to charge. We want to know who's with us. Get a hold of us, commsolutionsmn@gmail.com. That's commsolutionsmn@gmail.com, and let us know exactly what you feel tugging on your heart for. We'll help you. Okay? That's why we're here, Minnesota. Because we want to see you be successful in bringing freedom back to our land. I know we gave you a mouthful today, but the rest, it's got to be you putting it into action. 'Cause we love you, Minnesota, but now it's your turn.